How. Welcome back to the Flatworld, everybody. How's it going? I'm your host, Mogswamp, here for another episode. So let's get started here. This episode's going to be a talky one because I don't have much planned for this time. As I said, as far as the Flatworld goes, I'm going to be doing a lot more on here, and I'm going to explain that a little more. This is going to be a little bit of a talky episode. I'm going to address some final things about the RedCubed server before we sort of move on from that. And we never really have to talk about that again after this. I just want to finally, finish up talking about a few subjects. I left a few things out in my video. I tried to take notes and write things down, but I didn't remember everything, so I left some things out, and maybe I censored a few things here and there from the goodbye video for RedCubed, because maybe even just subconsciously, even if I was trying not to. But let me show you real quick. Before I continue, I just wanted to show you that I've been stockpiling villagers up here. What the hell? What happened here? Jesus Christ. Oh, they must have all died in the sun or something? Oh my god. What the hell? Okay, let me kill these guys. Die, fiend. Alright. So yeah, as you can see, I stockpiled a bunch of villagers there. But yeah, if I left anything out, it's probably just because I forgot or, got distracted or something like that. So apologies if I did. But I have a few things left to say, and I do want to address the comments because the video's only been up since 5:30 today. Right now it's 9:30, so it's only been up for 4 hours, but already the response was really good. It kind of blew up on Twitter a little bit because not many people were as truthful as I was in the whole closing of the server thing, so I could just talk to it a bit more before we move on forever. So this episode will be called Regarding RedCubed, and while we do that, I've got a little project I want to work on. Over here where the automatic sheep farm is, I'd like to add a lot of automatic farms, and if possible ones that don't require me to be around AFKing, so that the goal is this will be a place where I'll choose an AFK farm, and then while I'm AFKing, like getting wool or something, there's an automatic farm mining cobble for me, or an automatic farm giving me wheat, and an automatic farm giving me melons, and all sorts of stuff is happening while I am idling over here to collect wool. And as you can see, I've named quite a few of them the Jeb sheep. I actually named a whole bunch more of the Jeb sheep, but what happened was, so I get my name tags from my automatic fishing farm, and what happened was I had named these all Jeb, and then I went back, and then I was doing an episode of the creative series, and I switched to peaceful, and I accidentally logged, like I was very careful, but the problem was I accidentally logged in for a second to look at something on the Flatworld for reference, and the wither got deleted, so I had to revert to a backup and do that. But yeah, this place looks pretty cool. Big garden, big iron golem, and my plan for this area is to put everything on little grass circles like this, and take out the grass that's not, that's not in a circle, and basically have a bunch of floating circles all at different levels with all these farms going on. So that's what we're going to be working on a little bit today, hopefully. But yeah, back to topic of RedCubed. There are a few more things I wanted to say. First of all, to people who still don't really understand why everybody left so abruptly, I came up with a metaphor. I've been using it a lot. Like, I keep using it again and again, and I figured I'd just tell it here because I didn't tell it in the last video, and I think it's an okay metaphor. So the metaphor I used was the stock market crash that led to the Great Depression, and it's kind of funny calling this whole thing a Great Depression, but that's beside the point. So basically what happened with the stock market crash was in 1929 the stock market did crash, and basically what happens when the stock market crashes is everybody panics right away. That is everybody's first response, and basically they all have their stocks for the younger viewers who don't really know how the stock market works. It goes up and down, and if you sell high, you get a lot of money, and if you sell low, you kind of lose some money sometimes. So if you have a lot of money in the stock market and then it crashes, a lot of people panic and they say, before it goes any lower, I'm taking my money out because I don't want to lose any more money. And so that's what happened with the stock market crash. And before you know it, everybody's taken their money out of the stock market, out of the economy. And yeah, before you know it, there's a Great Depression because everything has crashed. Everything has come to a halt, basically. And so a whole bunch of money is lost. And yeah, so that's what I came up with to talk about the server. And yeah, basically, I would say the crash was Liam, Poet, Winter, some of our biggest people, biggest and best, left the server. And that was sort of a stock market crash, I guess. But it was more of a slow trickle, actually. It was, a few people left, a few people were scared, a few people panicked, and before you knew it, everybody started pulling out because the more people that left, the more people decided, oh, I better sell my stocks, I better get out of here. Or, some people said, the reason I got on the server was to be here for this person, and now they're not there anymore, so what point is there for me to stay? I don't have a place on the server. I don't feel like I belong, which is, obviously really important. You got to feel like you belong on your server. If you don't, I didn't feel like I belonged on the RedCubed server for a long time. Way back when it first started, I didn't make many videos on there. I was kind of antisocial on the server, which is funny because in real life I am an extremely outgoing, extroverted, social person. But I was, exiled on my own little island on the last map, and the deal. So I didn't feel like I belonged. So I've been in that position, and I can definitely see where people are coming from. You want to get out of there. But yeah, that was just a metaphor I wanted to tell you guys to maybe sort of help you guys understand a little bit. Now let's see what's going on here. What's going on here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 2, 1. Oh, 1, 1. Damn it. Okay. I see. So then the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about was I was listening to my I'm a senior in high school, and we take Psych 101. Basically is what it is. I don't think that's not the name of the class. It's AP Psychology, but it's basically like a Psych 101 type of thing. And one of the things we're learning about right now is this guy, Albert Ellis, the founder of this branch of psychology, the cognitive behavioral branch of psychology. And basically the whole theory is that we make ourselves crazy with the way we react to things. It's not how we... it's not the things that happen to us. It's not something bad happens to you and then you become... Oh, I messed up again. Then you become super depressed or anything. No. It's something bad happens to you and you think about it and you brew on it, and eventually that's what makes us disturbed. That's what makes us narcotic. And so the whole point of his thing, he has this thing, REBT, which is rational emotive behavioral therapy. And the whole point of it is basically, he sits down and challenges irrational thoughts that people have. And he says the hallmark of irrational thoughts are things like should and must. And so some examples are, people who tell themselves, I must... for example, let's use relationships. I must be loved by this person, or I'm no good as a human being. I'm a piece of shit if this person doesn't love me, or and that's inner really. But if you're going and sort of pushing it out towards people, right? It's more like she shouldn't act that way. She must not act that way. And this is the one that most applies to me because I'm a teenager. I'm almost 18, and I don't get along the best with my parents all the time. You guys know how it is, and so Some of the things that my parents will do, I just say they shouldn't act that way. They really shouldn't act that way. That's stupid. I just keep replaying in my head, and what ends up happening if you keep telling yourself that they shouldn't act that way is that you just drive yourself crazy. And this guy Ellis says the right way to think about it is, I prefer that they didn't act that way, but I accept that they're acting that way. And yeah, there's nothing more to it really. That's his whole deal. So it's just I wish it weren't this way, but that's it. I wish it weren't, but you can't do anything about it. And I feel like I sort of when I was listening to this lecture, I was like, should, and that was a lot of what I heard all the time on the RedCubed server, because a lot of the things, the reason the community is confused, people are confused, everybody's asking, what were the problems, and we're like, we don't really know. But when something upsets somebody, everybody was like, okay, we should have done this. With the public server, we should have done this. We should have done this. And rather than do that, it would be better to say, yeah, like this would have been the better option, or I would have preferred that we had done this, but we didn't. So we got to keep moving forward. And props to Cherry P Gamer. She had a whole positive attitude all the time on the server. She really lifted spirits when things were rough. But I mean, obviously, in the end, nothing was really enough. But if anything would have been enough, it would have been Cherry. She was awesome. But yeah, I just kind of related that to the server a little bit, and I thought it was a useful thing to tell everybody because this therapy is still used today. It's probably the biggest contribution to psychology ever. Some people claim bigger than Freud. So yeah, that's crazy. So rational thinking. I actually took a test in the class because I like to pride myself. I went through this weird phase. Let's say it was about a year ago, maybe. I don't know. Actually, for a lot of my high school career, I kind of went through this phase where I just loved to think, and I would think and think about things, come up with like new philosophies. And it's funny because like just today, for psychology, I'm reading this thing about this Holocaust survivor, and one of the things that I had philosophized, if that's a word, one of the things that I'd come up with last year was that no matter like who you are, your problems are just important to you as anyone else's problems are to them. So you should never say someone's problems are petty or something because those problems matter to them. And then I was reading this Holocaust survivor thing today, and oh geez, I have fences already. And I see that this guy stated it more eloquently. He said that suffering is like a gas. It fills, a gas fills whatever container, fills up the volume it's in, fills whatever container it's in. Suffering will, no matter how little the suffering, it will, consume the part of you that suffers, if you know what I mean. So I thought that was interesting how something I had thought of a while ago, like had appeared by some, the guy, the Holocaust survivor, is like a big psychologist, like doctor guy. So I thought that was pretty cool. Just a thought I had appeared in something I was reading, and so yeah, I went through a sort of phase where I love to do all that. In fact, I'm a bit of a writer as well. So for a long time, I kept this weird journal full of just crazy, wonky thoughts like that, and I went back and read them recently because they're all like a year old now, and I had some like crazy weird thoughts and like cool, interesting ideas. So yeah, long story short, I like to think of myself as a rational thinker. I like to think of myself as a thinker. I like to think. I actually do. I love to think. But yeah, so I took a test in the psych class, and it actually said I was like in the 75th or maybe 80th percentile for rationality, according to this, short little questionnaire. So that was interesting. to see that, because you know that's not bad. So yeah, that was an interesting result. So that's why I think maybe a lot of people liked the way the RedCubed explanation video end video came out, because I tried to be very rational about it. I also, you know, tried to incorporate people's opinions and my own opinions as well. But I think looking at things from both, if there's ever something, you got to look at it from every side. You know, their side, your side, and a completely unobjective side. And yeah, that's a good rule to live by in general. That'll just help you get along with people, and that's why I told you. Oh, excuse me. Something stuck in my throat. That's why I told you about this rational therapy stuff as well, is because I just think it's useful to know. Because if you keep that in mind, then you know, you won't drive yourself crazy. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So let's see how this circle thing's coming out, right? So we can take apart the land that isn't involved in a circle in a second. And I still need to figure out what I'm going to do with this little thing out here. I might try to turn it into a big circle. It's really gross. It's like a big tumor. It's not a tumor. Tell me what movie it's from, and you win a prize. But yeah, and so yeah, I've just been really active in the community lately. Just, you know, dealing and responding to videos. I know Jaren put up a video with his views on SMP servers, and I like to share my views on things, and so I tried to do that as much as possible lately, just so people know where I stand, and yeah, all that jazz. But yeah, like I said, all in all, I'm over it. I'm happy. I'll miss the server, but this is a great opportunity for me to move on as a channel and grow, and sort of, you know, develop my own personality a little more than I already have, which I think I've been doing a good job of lately. That's something I think when I first started the channel lacked, or was lacking a little bit, was that my true personality didn't come out as much in some things. I think it really came out in the Pink and Purple series, the old series that I had. But other than that, on my Flatworld, I've always been distracted by really technical things, because I can talk on and on, as you can probably tell right now, and I can especially talk on and on about the game itself. I love to talk about Minecraft as a game, and I love to debate about where the game should go, and I love to talk about technical things. And in the Flatworld, since I've always wanted to be a little technical with things, it's a big distraction for me, because I tend to focus a little much on what's going on in the game. But let's pop down here, because I want to try and see if we can turn this into a circle here. And basically we could put half slabs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we could make it another one of those 7 radius circles. You know, these Endermen sure are a pain, I'll tell you. Since this is a place that I idle quite often at, the ground really suffers. For those of you that don't know what this is, by the way, this is a full list of my first 150 subscribers, the 150th being Oswin Not. And once in a while I like to show this list on screen, because it's kind of cool to see which people are still around and which people were really good commenters. The Assault Guy, I recognize Danny39S. There's Silent Mist, of course. Let's see, ZNX Bell. A lot of these people aren't around anymore as much, but still pretty cool. There was something wrong with YouTube too, where like the users weren't being listed properly. I don't know. It was weird. But all right, so let's see if we can make this circle. I'm just gonna ignore that zombie. I have no idea where he is. Okay, so hopefully this won't look too weird with a random bar going across. For symmetry, maybe I'll do the same thing on the other side. But for now, let's do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. and then the 7th one can be over here, and then hopefully this thing will just, this circle will mostly hide it, and then we can have like a little step down, so this will be like a double circle. So if that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, we go 2 out. Oops, that was bad placement. Okay, we go 2 out, and then another 2, and then 1. Okay, we're out of stuff. And that's another thing I do a lot is if I'm counting something, there's not much else to talk about but what you're counting, because it's not natural to be talking about something while you count. I don't think, like, we're not built to do that as human beings. Because it is a struggle. I've always had a hard time building while I talk. So yeah, even though I think I'm pretty good at talking, I I have a hard time with building while I do it. Hey, little guy. Oof. Let me know what you guys think of a snapshot, because the snapshot, as you know, does a lot of things to villagers. First of all, I don't think these farms are going to be as efficient. I could be wrong. But as far as this thing over here in this project with trying to get a bunch of perfect villagers and stuff, I don't know that it's really going to be necessary anymore. I also wanted to try and maybe make an iron trench, but those are going to be broken, as I understand. And so I was going to hold off as long as possible, maybe not even update when the update came out, just so that I could get done what I wanted to get done with the villagers. But now I'm sort of at the point where I don't know that there really is anything that I want to get done with the villagers that I haven't already done. I've got the infinite breeder, which will eventually break, so I want to stockpile villagers, of course. But after that, there's not much that I really need to do, I don't think. So we'll have to see what you guys say in the comments. But yeah, while I'm building this final circle, I'd like to take the time to read some of the comments and respond to some of the comments on the RedCubed video, to wrap things up with that. I did respond to the comments on the actual video itself in the comment section, so that's definitely worth checking out if you haven't seen it, especially if you commented on the video. I don't know why I destroyed this. I probably shouldn't have. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I can just destroy the dirt here as needed. Without, okay, yeah. So, yeah, so let's grab a comment. I have dual monitors, so I've got it on the other screen. Here was something that I thought was interesting. I want people to know that I'm not against time shot at all. And also, as Liam mentioned in the comments, I suggested that maybe time shot members had been, you know, approaching RedCubed members about joining, but I don't think that's true according to him. So I think that was just a rumor floating around the chat rooms that we had. And if it wasn't a rumor, then it was maybe, you know, 1 or 2 specific people that they asked, and not a whole, you know, group of us, because they weren't trying to destroy us or anything. But yeah, I want people to know that I'm not against the server, because I had this discussion with Nitronic Gamer, and I had the thought that, you know, time shot may be really what the community needs, in the way that they really took the most successful of each server, you know, decidedly vanilla, RedCubed, and Vector. And, you know, this doesn't mean that they're the best of each server necessarily. It just means that they're the most successful. And they put them all together on one server. These guys, like I said, are the most successful. And as Poet has said and has been quoted on, the whole point of this server is to be community oriented. So that is the goal of the time shot server. And so what I'm thinking is maybe there's a lot of connections there. With the time shop people, they're all connected to the leftover vectorites, red cubers, decidedly vanillers, decidedly vanillians, and so there's tons. I don't know where I put my bed. Did I somehow destroy it? And it's, oh, maybe, yeah, I bet I did. I bet I did. Let's look down in the water. I'm stuck. Help. Okay. So yeah, I just had the thought that maybe this is, really what the community needs, because there's tons of connections with them. They're obviously already successful, so they already have a big audience, and hopefully their server will be successful as a whole. And yeah, if all goes as planned, they can grow the whole entire small community of Minecraft on YouTube, provide better content specifically catered to the viewers, and help pull up some of the old members that they all still know and they still will hopefully collaborate with. So it could be a really good thing for the community, and I think people should keep an open mind about it if they haven't already. And that goes for any of the new servers popping up. The other one that I know of is Moonlight. That one I'm excited about personally because there are a lot of people that I know on that server and that I think are really cool. So that's like a really awesome group of people. And then Rock House, of course. I'm gonna be there. That's already decided. I'm gonna be on Rock House, whether like full time or just on and off. I mean, that was decided before RedCubed went down. So yeah, because I'd love to help out there. But yeah, maybe I'm sort of ranting for too long on this, and I don't know when the episode's going to be over, so I'm going to move on to another, or not when it's going to be over, but when we're going to be approaching 30 minutes. That's kind of what I shoot for. We might go a little over. But another thing, a bunch of people were asking about me doing a single-player world, because I think that a lot of people right now are looking for consistency, something that won't go away, something that has a lot of episodes already, and we're here right now. This is the Flatworld. This is episode approaching 70, I think, somewhere around there, and I'd really love to have you stick around because this is all legit on a normal super flat world with nothing but grass and villages, so it's my baby. If RedCubed was Drew's baby, the Flat World is my baby. This is my pride and joy. So this will never go away. And if this goes away, that means the channel's going away, pretty much, is what it comes down to. Unless the series ever becomes wildly unsuccessful and my channel is wildly successful. And I'll have to devote time to other things. But even then, I don't know if I would sacrifice this series because this is my thing. This is my defining series on YouTube. This is what makes my channel Mogswamp. What makes me Mogswamp. So for those of you who are asking about single player, this is my single player world. I have no plans to do a vanilla or non-flat world single player world because quite frankly they're boring for me, and I don't see much of a point in it. If I'm going to do a vanilla non-flat world, it's going to be on a server. So moving on, Swordfish Plays had some really nice insights on leadership and all that stuff, because that was always cited as the big issue with RedCubed. Even if there weren't tons of specific examples, the fact that it was so often quoted as being the main problem definitely says something. So yeah, that's something for every server to look at, I guess. And yeah, I was happy that he brought that up. A lot of people had some awesome support. The last really long comment that I really liked was, of course, Rick Clark, professional comment writer. And it's funny because I see him on Ethos videos now all the time, which I didn't know he commented elsewhere professionally. So it's really cool to see him expanding his profession, because he always gets top comments. It's hilarious. He's really good at writing comments. He's good at his job. He must get paid a ton. But Oh man, I forgot where I was even going. Okay, yeah. He spoke again to the fact that he thinks we could have just cut our losses and moved on and built up again. And then I spoke to him, which is something I think I kind of left out, about the motivation to keep going that was lacking. There were two main groups on the server, the really old guys and the new guys. And with the new guys, they just weren't invested enough in the server to have the motivation to build something ground up and rebrand something that they had originally joined in its prime, really. And so they just lacked the motivation. They lacked the reason. No one has had a reason to stick around. And for the old guys who were invested in the server and did have some sort of motivation, it was hard to grow the RedCubed server. It was not an overnight thing. It was a year and a half worth of hard work from all of the people involved, lots of struggling, and we were getting to a point where we could call ourselves successful, definitely. And basically to have to build from the ground up after that, basically just the motivation wasn't there. Oh, wow. Okay, sorry guys, I was interrupted there, but yeah, as I was saying, the motivation wasn't there to build from the ground up after all that struggle, after a year and a half of working hard to get to the server to where it is. And so basically, the new servers weren't invested enough. The old servers were, discouraged, disheartened, downtrodden. And what ended up happening was we said, let's call it quits. So it wasn't, it was more of a lack of motivation. It wasn't like we thought it could never go anywhere. I don't know. It was more like we recognized that it would take a lot of work to get the server back to where it was, and none of us were really willing. Okay, I'm not gonna say none of us, but more than half of us weren't. And so, yep, things ended, and the biggest part of it was Drew. Of course, he had the final say. So once he didn't want to do it, that was it. That was the end of it. So yeah, that's that. That's the server. But yeah, I think I covered the whole thing pretty well. So I think we're pretty much ready to wrap up here. I'm just trying to finish this stupid circle, which is proving to be quite difficult for me. I don't know why. I'm gonna have to like rebuild this circle up here when I'm done. Let's see. Goes under here. Yeah, see, my commentary has just come to a halt because I ran out of things to talk about. So yeah, I've been getting a lot of server requests, which I'm fine with. I'm gonna be honest with people. I'm not really looking for a server, but the requests are fine. I know it's actually very awesome and flattering to learn that people would like to have me on their server. That's really awesome news. So, by no means is the channel over or ruined or anything. That's especially apparent. Okay, let's see. What did I do wrong? Nothing, it would seem. Then why? Oh, this is the final. Okay, this is the final thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think these zombies are continually like trying to light on fire and then being put out, and it's making that really weird noise. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of these. So now we got a big circle here and a destroyed circle up here, and I'll figure out how to make this look cool, hopefully. I think I'm just going to complete this circle, put a staircase, and call it a day, rather than try and do anything super fancy. So I'll do that right now, and then we can wrap up and read the comments. Alright, so I think that looks pretty cool. A little circle here with some steps down, and then a circle there. I'm thinking maybe I might try to spiral up into the sky and basically pretend this circle was a level higher. I'd jump, go onto that one, jump, go onto the next one, and I would never have to really put anything between the circles. I could just walk, and they would slowly spiral into the sky. But that is just an idea. Let me know in the comments what you think. So let's get on to the story. Okay, guys, this time it was really, really hard decision. In fact, I think I might just do 2 of them. Yeah, there were so many good ideas for the story this time, and I hate to leave anyone out, really. But I'm gonna do 2. I've already done Melissa once, and I'm gonna do again his comment again. So, oh, my bad, I started typing on the other screen. Just because I love this one so much. In this mountain, many beasts of 3 heads slain and were slain. I'm not going to correct the grammar or anything. Mogswamp was the cause of this and continuously, I think that's how you spell it, summoned this great darkness who left a permanent mark on his flat land. 3 flashing, floating, ghostly heads. And that one is, like I said, Melissa. Feeny. I love that one because if you guys have been watching for a while, you know that I had wither fights in the mountain in Withering Heights, and it's really funny because one time I was around there and I noticed that there were like flashing blocks, and upon closer inspection I realized they were wither heads. I think from switching to peaceful accidentally while I had a wither. But the other one I wanted to do is someone who's commented multiple times, and I'm not going to correct anything. So I'm going to do this one too. Mogswamp pondered the prophecy, wondering if the mountain in the story was the mountain right outside his door. He grabbed his trusty pick while rubbing his greedy hands together before heading out and digging for hours and hours. Well, hours and hours to find the most unexpected thing, even the most imaginative minds. Okay, hold on. Imaginative minds could have thought of the long-lost city of gold. This is someone who has commented tons of times with awesome stories, but I've never picked them. So Ruthie Wilkinson. There we go. So that's this time. I'll read the whole story now. I think from now on I'm probably going to actually just type them out first and then read them to you guys, because it takes a little long otherwise. But this is episode 64, and we'll sign it and close it. So let's read it. There once was a man named Mogswamp. He was a grumpy and greedy old man. He always got what he wanted, and he wanted a lot of things. Many of the things he wanted weren't always there. He was slowly bringing life back to the mountain that towers above him. He found an old dusty book in the library of an abandoned village. The book contained a legend, a prophecy that mentioned a mountain arising out of nothing, and inside this mystical mountain a wondrous discovery awaited. In this mountain many beasts of 3 heads slain and were slain. Mogswamp was the cause of this, and continuously summoned the great darkness, who left a permanent mark on his flat land. 3 flashing, floating, ghostly heads. Mogswamp pondered the prophecy, wondering if the mountain in the story was the mountain right outside his door. He grabbed his trusty pick while rubbing his greedy hands together before heading out and digging. That's supposed to say digging. Digging for hours and hours to find the most unexpected thing even the most imaginative minds could have thought of. The long-lost city of gold. I'm sure you guys were yelling at me, telling me that I spelled that wrong, but it's going to be there forever now. So thank you for watching. Again, next time, just so this segment doesn't take so long, I will type them out beforehand and leave your story suggestions in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Remember to throw a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.